Hello there everybody, and welcome to Deadly Ground, Titanfall's newest game mode, just released yesterday by Respawn Studios. So basically, it's not necessarily an individual game mode as it is a mutator for existing game modes. So basically, you can still play CTF, Hardpoint, and Mark for Death on it. I don't know if there's any other game types, I have not played them yet, if they are there, but I know that those three are in fact included. Gameplay that you're seeing here is a Deadly Ground Capture the Flag match on Runoff. So I'm going to be playing with a little bit of car SMG, just trying to stay off the ground as much as I can. And we're just going to be talking about, just like my first impressions of Deadly Ground. What do I think about it? Is it fun? What can they do to improve it? All that kind of stuff. So without much further ado, guys, let's get started. So, first up is that obviously apparent fog that covers the map. That is the Deadly Ground. So basically, if you are within that fog, you have about, I'd say maybe about a half of a second to exit that smoke, or that fog, before you start to take electrical damage very, very quickly. Unlike regular electrical smoke, when you're taking damage from it, I should say, it does not influence your velocity vector whatsoever. So it's not like electric smoke where it'll actually, slow you down or throw you out of it, or force you to move while you're in the air. It does not have any bearing on your momentum whatsoever while you're inside of it. It also seems that if you're bunny hopping through it, the time is cumulative, and so you can bunny hop it, through it and just kind of touch it, and you will eventually start taking damage after like 4 or 5 bunny hops, but usually you can get a few good hops in before you start really taking some damage. However, this is very, very dependent on how high the smoke actually is. If the smoke is very low to the ground where you're trying to bunny hop, you can go very far without taking damage, but if the smoke is very high, then you're only going to be able to make 1 or 2 hops. So you have to keep in mind, where are you trying to run your routes, where are you trying to move around, when you're getting through this smoke without, actually dying to it or taking significant damage from it. It forces you to think about the game very differently. Now, granted, I play the game where I'm not, in such a way that I'm not personally on the ground very much. I do try to be, in the air or on the walls or on rooftops as much as I can. It's just kind of just my nature, I suppose. So for me and for a lot of my friends that I know play this in a similar way I do, this game mode is not much of a stretch to them. It's not much different from what they normally do. But for some people, they find this mode to be exceptionally difficult. And it's kind of a question of, are these people who are finding it very, very difficult, were they fundamentally playing the game wrong before? Or are people who are moving around like this not playing, to the fullest potential, and they're they're kind of limiting themselves by not playing the slower, more ground-based game? That's kind of a whole other commentary for another day, but frankly, I guess what the main thing I'm trying to get at here is that a lot of people are finding it very difficult to move around in this mode. And it's really interesting to me that that this far into the game people are having a whole lot of difficulties. Now, I'm not sure if it's just difficulties in bunny hopping, or there's some sort of aversion to the very fast, bunny hoppy kind of play style, or even just, moving between walls and sticking to roofs. I'm not sure where that aversion lies. You can see here, I stayed really close to the ground and covered the entire map, while taking damage, but without dying. So I don't know, I think that with practice, I think this mode is really, well, let me put it this way. I think this is a really good practice mode for you to get better at other game types. By actually creating a lose condition for being on the ground and not trying to play as quickly as you can, you're actually just gonna straight up die. You're not waiting on other players to punish you for it. You are just straight up dying. And it forces you to play the game differently and to, really abuse your mobility options whenever possible. See, right in here where I just died, I was not abusing my mobility options. I tried to play the slow running on the ground thing, and I got wrecked. If I wouldn't have done that, if I would have just gone out that window by those back stairs and picked up a wall run, I could have been back into my base and probably been fine, unless somebody else decided to carbine me. But, it's just forces you to play differently. Well, it forces a lot of people to play differently. I personally don't play a whole lot differently, but I don't know. I think it's something that could be tweaked to become better and more fun for a lot of players who may not be quite so good at all of the of all the parkour style play. So before I get into that, one thing I do want to note really quick is that I do really, really enjoy the electric smoke dealing a lot of damage to Titans. And it forces people to be a lot more particular with when they use Titans, and it prevents people from just sitting in their Titan for a full game, you know? I like that it's more Call of Duty-esque, and that it's more like a short kill streak that you get, and that it's on a death timer, you know? You can only have it for so long. You can't just keep, you know, just dunking on people over and over and over and over again with it, and have it for 20 years. You know, you have it for like a minute, and then it's gone. It's done. You have to wait until you get it again to actually call it in. I like that. I enjoy that. But, you know, I'm the kind of player who really enjoys the pilot gameplay. I don't like the intermixing of pilot and Titan. So anything that will cause Titans to be on the field less and pilots on the field more, I'm very much a fan of. So for me personally, this game mode is like a godsend, because for one, it forces people to play with parkour and play as a very intelligent and skilled pilot, and two, it gets all those silly Titans off the battlefield. You know, if I wanted to play, you know, against Titans, I would go play LTS. You know, and I love LTS. I really enjoy the way that Titans and Titans combat each other. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't like the pilot Titan intermixing. So this game mode for me is just friggin' awesome. But getting back on topic here, you know, how can Respawn actually, you know, improve this game type? How can they make it more accessible? Well, I do think that maybe this electric smoke kills pilots a little bit too quickly. Because I have been in plenty of situations where, you know, I just, like, miss one jump or I miss one bunny hop, you know, and I get myself all screwed up. And I get, you know, I get so, like, I guess the best way to describe it is when I'm parkouring and moving around, I feel very like wound up, you know, like I'm like winding myself up to move from area to area to area, and everything is very planned in advance as to where I'm going to be going. And I don't mean like even routes, just like a few seconds in advance. Like you know, I'm looking ahead of me, I'm reading the terrain, and I'm saying, okay, I need to hit that, I need to hit that, and I need to bounce there and hit that to get to this place, you know, and in Deadly Ground, when I miss just one of those jumps, all of a sudden I'm completely discombobulated, I'm completely unwound, and I need to basically reevaluate a brand new route or a brand new kind of way to get out of that smoke and get back, you know, up to some kind of high ground to reestablish myself. And a lot of times, you know, I get so discombobulated by missing that one jump that I can't get out of the smoke in time. You know, it's like, it's not like I'm trying to play on the ground or anything like that. It's just, I'm just straight up missing a jump. And I can't recover from it. So I don't know if that's just me not being good enough, or, you know, maybe I'm just, you know, having a bad position because I'm, you know, missing a jump at a very, very crappy time. That, you know, all those things could be true. But I think that lessening the damage of smoke versus pilots just a little bit might be very beneficial, because I think that, you know, I don't think you want to punish players quite so hard as you do now. I think that maybe, you know, just giving them a nudge in the right direction by taking a bit of damage is a lot more effective than you have, you know, 1 second to get out of the smoke, or you will just straight up die. You know, I think that being a little bit more conservative with that, instead of being so aggressive as it is now, might be a nice change. If anyone from Respawn happens to be listening and, you know, finds my completely uneducated balance suggestions to be valid, you know, I think that you know, making that smoke just a little weaker might be a good thing. But before I get rambling for too much longer, I guess I'll just go in summary here. This is a really fun game mode. I'm really enjoying it. I think that this should stick around for a long time, and I really hope that a lot of people play it, because it really forces you, you know, to reinforce your parkour skills. And I think by playing it for a couple of weeks and then going back into regular playlists, you're going to find that you're a much faster player, you're a much more evasive player, you understand the maps and the ebb and flow of the game much better. And you can deal with a lot of these, you know, more crazily moving opponents, especially those smart pistols, because for one, you're going to see them a lot in this game mode, because, you know, for whatever reason, people want to play a first-person shooter and not have to actually aim in it for whatever stupid reason. I don't know why anyone does that, but they do. So you're going to get so much better at dealing with those, and dealing with parkour, and dealing with just crazy jumping and, you know, and random movement styles, that your regular gameplay and regular game modes is going to improve vastly, in my opinion. So anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you're enjoying the new game mode. You know, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. You like it, you hate it, you know, I'd love to talk about it, and, you know, maybe if you're having any difficulties, I can try to help you out individually to get a little bit better at it. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care.